Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Yeah.
This week, we're going through Andrew Kagan's weekly newsletter, and it's kind of a one-stop shop for all things tech.
Absolutely.
For people who are busy and just need to kind of get the weekly download of what's going on.
It's a great resource.
So we're going to jump right in. This week, he's got some interesting stuff about AI.
Definitely a lot of AI in there.
Microsoft is dabbling with mind-reading AI.
Oh, wow.
Or at least trying to figure out how to, re-rank their search results.
Interesting.
Based on what you're really looking for.
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff about AI becoming a security risk itself.
Right.
Which is really interesting. I mean, AI is supposed to be making our lives easier.
You would think so, right?
So we'll jump into that.
Yeah.
And then, there's a must-read GAO report on cybersecurity.
Oh.
If you're in healthcare IT.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's we'll summarize that, and then there's some really alarming news about telecom breaches.
Oh, no.
And what the U.S. government wants you to do about it.
Okay. So
Sounds like a lot to cover.
there's a lot to cover this week, but we'll get through it. So we're going to start with Azure, and, it wouldn't be a tech deep dive without some AI talk. Of course not. So Microsoft is partnering with Cohere to bring more advanced search features to Azure.
Interesting.
And they're using AI to better understand user intent and improve search ranking.
Okay.
They're calling it Re-rank 3 and 3.5.
Re-rank 3 and 3.5.
So I guess this is kind of like what I was talking about earlier with the mind reading.
Yeah.
So think of it this way. You're searching for something specific in Azure.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, a solution for securing your virtual machines.
Mm-hmm.
With Re-rank 3 and 3.5, the search engine goes beyond just matching keywords.
Okay.
It actually tries to understand your intent, even if you haven't used the most precise search terms.
Gotcha.
So instead of getting a bunch of irrelevant results,
You're presented with the most relevant solutions for your specific security needs.
so it's more intelligent.
Yeah.
It's taking the context into account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like having a search assistant who can read between the lines.
That's a good way to put it.
And speaking of security,
Yeah.
Azure Bastion Premium now allows for private deployment and session recording for remote access.
That's great.
Yeah.
Especially for organizations that are really prioritizing their security.
Big time.
Keeping those remote sessions within the private network is really important.
Yeah.
Reduces the risk of data leaks.
Yeah. And then the session recording adds another layer of accountability.
Exactly.
Allows for auditing and tracking of activities.
Just like having a security camera for your remote sessions.
Yeah.
It deters those bad actors.
Yeah.
But it also gives you the evidence if something does go wrong.
It's like that extra peace of mind.
Right.
That, if something does happen, at least you have
You have a record.
You have something.
Yeah.
And it's clear that, Microsoft is really focusing on tightening up their security within Azure.
Absolutely.
It's not just about,
Yeah.
fancy features and security enhancements. Microsoft is also really pushing responsible AI development on Azure.
Which is huge.
I know.
As AI gets more integrated into our lives, it's becoming more and more important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not just building powerful AI tools.
Right.
We have to make sure they're used ethically
Mm-hmm.
without perpetuating biases,
Right.
creating unintended consequences.
Yeah. You have to think about all that.
So it's striking that balance between innovation and responsibility.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So before we move on from Azure, there's one more update.
Yeah.
I think this is going to make a lot of system administrators very happy.
Oh, yeah.
Hot patching is coming to Windows Server 2025.
That's great.
That's
So,
great.
you know how annoying it is to have to reboot the server every time there's a security update?
Oh, yeah.
This eliminates that. You can apply the updates without taking the server offline.
That's great.
Increased uptime.
So no more late-night maintenance windows.
Hopefully
And
direct.
frantic calls from users
Right.
wondering why the system's down.
Yeah.
That's a win-win.
Definitely a win for businesses.
Okay, so let's move on to Microsoft 365.
Okay.
The big news here is Microsoft 365 Copilot is getting some major AI upgrades.
Oh, wow.
And not just any upgrades. These are specifically focused on security,
That's good.
which is,
Yeah.
a top concern for businesses, especially with all the cyber attacks going on.
Absolutely. Every week it seems like there's a new data breach.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, so you got to stay on top of it.
So this is good news.
Definitely.
And Microsoft is introducing new purchase options for small and medium businesses.
Okay.
So that'll make Copilot more accessible.
That's great. It's more inclusive that way.
Yeah.
It levels the playing field a little bit.
It does.
Allows those smaller companies to use the power of AI without, breaking the bank.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not just about making AI more powerful and accessible.
Right.
It's also about giving organizations the tools to control and secure that power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Microsoft is emphasizing the use of conditional access policies to manage and secure Copilot's capabilities.
So conditional access policies.
Yeah.
What are those exactly?
Think of it as like security guardrails for Copilot.
Okay.
They allow administrators to define specific rules about who can access what and under what conditions.
Okay.
For example, you might restrict access to sensitive data.
Right.
Or limit certain Copilot features based on a user's role or location.
Gotcha.
So it's really all about
So it's about controlling the access and making sure everything's secure.
minimizing the risk and making sure AI tools are used appropriately and securely.
Yeah, makes sense.
So pay attention to those conditional access policies.
Good advice.
Now, Copilot stole the show this week. But there were also some noteworthy updates for Viva connections in SharePoint.
Okay.
These updates mainly focus on extensibility and content improvements.
So making them more user-friendly.
Yeah. You're making those platforms even more versatile and user-friendly.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like Microsoft's continuing to invest in those core platforms.
Yeah.
Making sure they stay relevant.
Keeping them up to date.
Yeah.
All right, so we've kind of gone through Azure and Microsoft 365.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into the world of Power Platform and Dynamics 365.
Okay.
Ready for some
Let's go.
Power Platform power?
I'm all ears.
So if you are looking to become a Power Platform Pro,
Mm-hmm.
you are in luck.
Oh, yeah.
Kagan highlighted a 10-part series that goes deep into the platform's capabilities.
Nice.
So
It's a good resource for those who want to go beyond the basics. Really master the Power Platform.
Yeah. And for all the Power BI enthusiasts out there, there are updates to the core visuals.
Okay. I'll have to check those out.
Episode 377 goes into those details.
Right.
But it's all about enhancing data visualization.
Okay.
Making it even easier to get insights from your data.
So better visualizations.
Yeah.
Easier to understand.
And then the on-premises data gateway is getting a new release in November 2024.
November 2024 is going to be a busy month for updates.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Lots of new things coming out then.
A lot of exciting things.
So,
yeah. And then Copilot.
Oh, yeah. Copilot's coming to the Power Platform.
It's everywhere.
I know.
So what's it doing there?
It's introducing a new smart paste feature that claims to boost efficiency.
Smart paste.
Yeah. What exactly does smart paste do?
I'm curious, too.
So I don't have all the details yet.
Okay.
But it sounds like it's using AI to make pasting data and content within the Power Platform more intelligent and context-aware.
Interesting.
So instead of just dumping raw data, it's going to automatically format it,
okay,
recognize patterns, maybe even suggest relevant actions.
That would be cool.
Based on what you pasted.
Yeah.
So
estimation.
Freeing up the users to do more important things.
Yeah, taking away those tedious tasks.
Yeah.
And then Kagan highlighted a video showing how to build an AI-powered talent fit check tool using GPT and Power Apps.
Oh, wow.
So
that sounds really interesting.
This is a really good example of how AI can streamline and automate HR processes.
Yeah, being able to quickly see if a candidate's a good fit for a role based on all their skills and experience.
Yeah.
That would be a game changer.
It would.
Yeah.
Especially for recruiters. And it really highlights how versatile the Power Platform is.
Yeah, you can build some really cool stuff with it.
I know.
Without even coding.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground with Power Platform and Dynamics 365.
Oh, yeah.
New learning resources, updates to core tools, AI-powered features.
It's clear that Microsoft's still putting a lot of work into the Power Platform.
Yeah, they're not slowing down.
They're keeping it.
Making it a powerful tool for businesses.
Yeah, making sure it stays relevant.
Absolutely. You know, it's fascinating. We went from smarter search in Azure to AI-powered HR tools in the Power Platform.
Yeah.
It just shows how AI is impacting every aspect of technology.
Yeah, it really is that like underlying current running through everything. But speaking of connections, let's switch gears and talk about DevOps, SRE, and infrastructure.
Okay.
Kagan's got some interesting insights there.
Yeah, he always has some good stuff in there.
So this week he's highlighting Terraform and the idea of ephemeral resources.
Okay.
So for those who aren't familiar with Terraform, it's a tool for managing your infrastructure as code.
Yeah, it's like writing a script for your infrastructure.
Yeah, you define everything in code, from servers and networks to databases and security settings.
And ephemeral resources are a key part of that.
So tell me about ephemeral resources.
So these are temporary infrastructure components that you might need for a specific task, like testing a new feature or running a batch job.
So instead of having these resources running all the time, taking up space and costing you money,
Right.
you can just spin them up when you need them
Exactly.
and then tear them down once you're done.
It's all about efficiency.
Yeah, optimization.
And Terraform makes it easy to manage those ephemeral resources.
So you're only paying for what you use.
Right.
That's a big win for organizations, especially those in the cloud.
Especially in the cloud, yeah. Costs can get out of control.
Yeah.
So this is a good way to manage that.
Definitely.
Kagan also talks about the balance between innovation and maintaining a reliable infrastructure.
Oh, yeah. That's always a tough one.
It's a classic dilemma, right?
Yeah.
You want to be on the cutting edge, but you also need to make sure your systems are stable and secure.
Yeah. It's a tough balancing act.
It is.
I think a lot of companies struggle with that.
Definitely.
You want to innovate, but you don't want to break everything.
Right. You don't want to sacrifice reliability.
Right.
Yeah. But you don't have to choose one or the other.
Okay.
You can innovate and maintain reliability at the same time.
So how do you do that?
It's about having the right processes and mindset.
Okay. So what does that look like in practice?
Well, for starters, embrace automation.
Okay.
Automate as much as you can.
So that frees up your team to do more strategic work.
Exactly.
Like planning for the future
Planning for future innovations.
and making sure the infrastructure can support those ambitions.
Right.
You probably also need a really good testing and monitoring system.
Absolutely.
So you can catch problems before they impact users.
Be proactive,
Yeah.
not reactive.
Which brings us to another point that Kagan makes.
Okay.
Ensuring on-time delivery in agile projects.
Oh, yeah.
The eternal struggle of balancing speed and quality.
Right.
You want it fast, but you want it good.
Exactly.
It's hard to do both.
It is.
So what's Kagan's advice there?
Clear communication,
Okay.
realistic planning, and a focus on continuous improvement.
That sounds simple enough.
It sounds simple, but it's easy to overlook these things.
Especially when you're moving fast.
Especially in agile environments where things are moving quickly.
Yeah, you get caught up in the speed.
You got to make sure you're still paying attention to the fundamentals.
Okay.
Then Kagan gets into a topic that might seem a little complex. Heuristics in domain-driven design.
Heuristics. So for those of us who aren't familiar with that.
Heuristics are basically rules of thumb that can help you make better design decisions.
Okay.
So instead of starting from scratch every time you face a new design challenge, you can use the collective wisdom of those who have come before you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
So Kagan's saying these heuristics are particularly useful in domain-driven design.
Right.
Which is all about modeling the business domain in a way that's accurate and flexible.
It's about understanding the core principles of successful software design and applying them to your specific situation.
Okay, so it's not just about following rules blindly.
No, it's about understanding the why behind the rules.
Gotcha.
And then finally, Kagan wraps up the DevOps section with a piece on iterative and parallel design methods for improving usability.
So this is all about getting user feedback early and often right.
Exactly. Involve users at every stage of the design process.
Instead of just presenting them with a finished product.
Right. Get their feedback along the way.
Make adjustments as you go.
It's a more collaborative and user-centric approach.
So you end up with software that people actually want to use.
Exactly. Software that's usable and effective.
Okay, so we covered a lot in the DevOps and infrastructure space.
We did.
We talked about managing ephemeral resources, balancing innovation and reliability,
Right.
delivering on time in agile projects, leveraging heuristics and iterative design.
Kagan gave us a lot to think about.
He did.
It's a good reminder that even the mundane parts of software development can benefit from good design.
And a focus on user experience.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the exciting world of data, analytics, and AI.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah, Kagan has some great stuff in this section.
So he starts off with code samples for the semantic kernel vector store.
Okay.
Now, I know we have some tech-savvy listeners out there, but even for them, semantic kernel vector store might sound a little intimidating.
It's a mouthful.
It is.
So can you break it down for us?
Yeah, what is that?
Think of it as a powerful engine for semantic search and knowledge management.
Okay.
It lets developers build systems that understand the meaning behind words,
Okay.
not just the words themselves.
So instead of just matching keywords,
Right.
it can understand the context and intent of a search query.
Exactly.
So it's smarter.
Much smarter.
That opens up a lot of possibilities for building intelligent applications.
It does.
That can actually understand and respond to user needs.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It is.
And speaking of intelligent applications, Kagan also highlights some enhancements to Pinecone.
Pinecone.
It's a vector database.
And vector databases are designed to handle the complex data structures used in AI.
So any improvements there are going to have a big impact.
Huge impact.
So for those of us who aren't data scientists, what does this mean practically?
It means AI applications are going to get even more powerful and efficient.
Okay.
Imagine AI chatbots that can hold more natural conversations.
Okay.
Or recommendation engines that can surface even more relevant products and services.
That's exciting.
Yeah, things are just going to keep getting better.
And for those who love real-time data, Kagan has some good news.
Oh, yeah.
Real-time dashboards are now generally available.
Nice.
So this is great for anyone who needs to monitor data in real time.
Yeah, for business intelligence, operations management,
Siri monitoring.
all sorts of things.
And to make things even better, Copilot can help you create these real-time dashboards.
Copilot is everywhere.
I know it is.
It's like Microsoft's putting it in everything.
Yeah, it seems like their big push is to just make AI accessible and integrated across all their products and services.
Make it easy to use.
Yep.
And then for those working with Microsoft Fabric, there's a new SQL database query editor
Okay.
that should make data exploration and analysis easier.
So if you're comfortable with SQL,
Mm-hmm.
you can just jump right in.
Yeah, no need to learn a whole new interface.
And it's not all about familiar tools and techniques.
Right.
Kagan also talks about the STAR model from Liquid AI,
All right.
which is an alternative to traditional transformers for AI.
Interesting.
So transformers have been the dominant architecture for large language models.
Right. But they can be computationally expensive.
So this STAR model claimed to be more efficient.
Okay, so it's like finding a more fuel-efficient engine for your AI car.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good analogy.
And if you want to explore the present and future of AI, there's a video from the Microsoft Fabric Community Conference that Kagan recommends.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
So it sounds like a must-watch for anyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve.
Definitely AI is moving fast.
It is.
You gotta stay informed.
All right, let's take a moment to process all this information
not.
about data, analytics, and AI.
We've gone from semantic search to vector databases to real-time dashboards to new AI architectures.
It's mind-boggling how fast this field is moving.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is mind-boggling. But before we get too carried away with the future of AI, let's bring it back down to earth and talk about security, compliance, and privacy.
Okay.
It's something that's often overlooked.
It is. A lot of people get excited about the new tech and they forget about the security aspect.
Right, exactly.
It's important, though.
It is. And, we see it time and time again. These security breaches can have devastating consequences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kagan doesn't shy away from the topic in his newsletter.
No, he doesn't.
He starts off with a webcast on cyber insurance essentials.
Oh, yeah. Cyber insurance is becoming more and more important.
It is. Everyone should seriously consider it.
Yeah.
It can help mitigate the financial impact of a breach.
Yeah, it's like any other type of insurance.
Exactly.
You hope you never have to use it, but it's good to know you're protected if something does go wrong.
Right. And it's not just about transferring the risk. It's about having a strong security posture.
Right.
To minimize the likelihood of a breach in the first place.
And that's where Kagan's guidance on hardening communication infrastructure comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all about being proactive.
Okay.
Making it harder for attackers to get into your systems.
So securing your email servers,
your network devices,
your collaboration platforms.
Anything that handles sensitive data.
It's like building a fortress around your digital assets.
Exactly. You want to make it as hard as possible for them to get in.
And then for those working in the cloud, Kagan talks about advanced detection and response techniques for securing cloud containers.
Right. Containers are becoming really popular.
Yeah, they are.
For deploying applications in the cloud.
But they present unique security challenges.
Yeah, because they're often ephemeral and dynamic.
Right.
Traditional security tools might not be enough.
So you need more specialized solutions.
Exactly. Ones that are designed for containerized environments.
And of course, no security discussion would be complete without mentioning vulnerability management.
It's an ongoing process, You need a system for identifying, prioritizing, and fixing vulnerabilities.
Across your entire technology stack.
Yeah, it's like playing whack-a-mole with security threats.
It really is.
They pop up everywhere.
You fix one and then another one pops up.
Exactly. But the key is to stay vigilant and keep improving your security posture.
So we've covered cyber insurance hardening, communication infrastructure, securing cloud containers.
And vulnerability management.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is, but there are resources out there to help.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So let's move on to learning and certifications.
Okay.
This is where Kagan shares resources for people who want to stay ahead of the curve and develop new skills.
It's important to keep learning, especially with how fast technology is changing. There's always something new to learn.
So Kagan starts off with a piece on AI agents and emerging trends.
Okay.
Can you give us a quick overview of AI agents?
Sure. So AI agents are basically software programs that can act autonomously.
Right.
They can make decisions and take actions based on their goals.
So it's not just AI that can process data.
Right. It can actually do things in the real world.
Wow.
Like chatbots and self-driving cars.
So if they get more sophisticated, they're going to have a big impact on our lives.
They already are having an impact.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It is.
And for those who want to get hands-on with AI, Kagan has a piece on building intelligent graph algorithms.
ARWIS stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Okay.
It's a technique for building knowledge-based AI applications. You combine a large language model with a knowledge graph to create a system that can reason and answer questions.
So it's like a really smart research assistant?
Exactly.
Awesome.
And then if you're looking to boost your creative thinking, Kagan has a piece on using generative AI for that.
Oh, yeah. Generative AI is a hot topic.
It is.
With tools like DALL-E and ChatGPT.
It's really blurring the lines between human and machine creativity.
Yeah. It's crazy what they can do.
Yeah, and Kagan gives some tips on how to use these tools to enhance your own creative process.
For developers, Kagan has a resource listing 10 essential Python libraries.
Python is a popular language.
Yeah, it's used in a lot of different areas.
Web development, data science, machine learning.
So this is a good starting point for anyone who wants to learn Python.
It is.
And then finally, Kagan has a beginner-friendly video introducing Azure DevOps.
Azure DevOps is a platform for automating software development and deployment.
Okay.
This video is a good introduction to the basics.
So we've covered a lot today.
We have.
Azure, Microsoft 365.
Power Platform.
Data and AI.
Security learning certifications.
And now it's time for the final section.
Industry news and trends.
This is where Kagan looks at the bigger picture.
Yeah, those stories that have implications beyond just Microsoft. And there's some important news in cybersecurity this week.
Okay.
Starting with a GAO report on cybersecurity in healthcare.
Healthcare is a big target for cyber attacks.
It is because of all these sensitive patient data.
And this report highlights the challenges facing the industry.
Yeah, and the potential consequences of an attack.
The stakes are high.
They are. You're talking about patient privacy, medical records.
Even the operation of medical devices.
It's critical stuff.
And then there's more bad news on the cybersecurity front.
Oh, no. What is it?
Amazon launched Q Developer.
Okay.
It's a tool to simplify code pipelines.
So what's the issue?
Well, it might make things easier for developers.
Right.
But it could also introduce new security vulnerabilities.
Ah, so it's a trade-off between convenience and security.
Yeah, in a way.
But you can manage those risks if you're aware of them.
And then, following some recent telecom breaches, the U.S. government is sharing tips to help block hackers.
This is a good reminder that cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility.
Yeah, we all have to be vigilant.
Absolutely.
And take steps to protect ourselves.
And U.S. officials are urging Americans to use encrypted apps.
Encryption is important.
It is. It protects your communications from prying eyes.
And then finally, on a lighter note, Kagan highlights advancements in 3D scene generation using AI.
Wow. AI is being used for everything these days.
It really is.
It's amazing.
It's crazy to think that we started this deep dive talking about how AI is changing search. And now we're talking about how it's creating immersive 3D worlds.
It just shows the vast potential of AI.
Yeah, and that's what I love about Andrew Kagan's newsletter. It takes us on a journey through the tech landscape.
It highlights all the important trends and innovations.
And challenges.
It's a great resource for anyone who wants to stay informed and ahead of the curve.
So that's it for this week's Deep Dive.
Another one down.
We hope you enjoyed this exploration of Andrew Kagan's tech newsletter.
It was a good one.
We encourage you to check out the full newsletter.
Yeah, there's a lot more detail in there.
And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay ahead of the curve.
See you next time.